Kroger Delivery has one mission: to deliver the freshest food right to your door. That's why our drivers are pros. Our trucks are refrigerated. And when it comes to low prices, we always deliver. With $20 off your first order of $75 or more, there's no better time to get in on the action. Mission accomplished. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
This episode is brought to you by Honda. When you test drive the new Prologue EV, there's a lot that could impress you about it. There's the class-leading passenger space, the clean, thoughtful design, and the intuitive technology. But out of everything, what you'll really love most is that it's a Honda. Visit honda.com/EV to see offers.
Tom Chorsky in for Patrick today. Tom, let me take this call. It's continuing with my desire to see a snowy owl. Is it Jim?
Yes, Joe.
Yes.
Hey, you're a white bear guy.
Yes.
You go out to Bald Eagle on 61.
Yeah.
And by the boat landing on 61, right across the street from Benson Airport. That's where they hang out.
Okay.
And so if you want to see one, just get out there early in the morning, and there's a series of maybe 4 or 5 of them out there, and they kind of hang around in the trees, and it's really cool. They're
you
big.
Live close by? He could stop by maybe for a cup of coffee?
It's an eruption. It's an eruption.
I live in Woodbury, so but I see a lot of them out there.
He can pick you up. That's fine.
Thank
Make
you,
it a
Jim.
date.
Thank you. Tommy Chorsky, you're very taken by this bear story, aren't you?
Well, I thought it was pretty interesting. I didn't know it was going to dovetail into owls and eagles, but I just saw it this morning. Yeah, a bear attacked a man and his dog.
In Isabella, Minnesota.
Yeah. And then it said and then it proceeded down the road and went after 2 more people.
Yeah. And the guy wrestled the bear. Vats is his last name.
Correct.
I don't have the story in front of me. It had his little corgi, and he went out and wrestled the bear. What's his first name?
You're right.
There.
It's
you got
Bill.
glasses on.
It's Bill.
Bill Vats?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. VAGTS.
Yeah. And he got puncture wounds and everything, but he said, it was over in a minute.
And the bear said, "You're not here for the camping, are you?"
Oh, then the bear went down the road and went after 2 other
That's
guys.
what it was.
Then the DNR shot him, or somebody shot the bear.
That's the fate for animals when they cross the line.
Well, why wasn't that bear sleeping?
That's a great point.
Why was that bear out and about?
It's been a mild winter.
They don't hibernate, I thought.
They don't hibernate, but they're in their dens in some sort of hypnotic trance.
Yeah.
But we learned that in their bear update a couple weeks ago that bears do not hibernate.
Camp Isabella, that's up by Ely.
I've been there when I was a kid.
6th grade, that was in ELC
Correct.
camp, Environmental Learning Center.
Correct.
What is?
In 6th grade, you always go on a science trip for a week to learn about the environment.
Really?
ELC.
And mine was it's no longer there, I think, now.
We never did that.
Well, you poor kids at St. Luke's.
We never went on
Environmental Learning Center.
We never
ELC.
went anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, but see, the environment wasn't crammed down our throats back then.
That's true. This would have been mid-70s at the height of, I don't know if it was the height.
6th grade was way before that.
You kind of phased that out of your mind, huh?
Way before that.
I can imagine that.
Chorsky, what was your locker room name? You can't get it. You're already got the Y sounding.
Chore
And
Tommy.
You pass the puck to Chore.
Hey, Chore, good shot.
Yeah, Chore.
Some coaches would call me Tommy.
Mm-hmm. When you guys were on a southern swing, because Florida was in the league when you were in the league.
Yep.
Was Tampa in the league when you were in the league?
Yeah. They were in a different building, and it was a whole different environment.
They were in
the baseball
in the dome.
stadium. Yeah, it was a little carved out little corner
field.
They tried to have a little carnival in there, and it was silly.
But when you guys went on a southern swing, did the coaches go easy on you, turn you loose? You could walk the beach, unwind a little?
Well, you could because you didn't charter back then. So you were overnights and you flew in on a commercial flight. At least the early part of my career. Towards the end, I guess I was on charter. But yeah, because you were going to be coming in on commercial, there was some free time to walk around.
Because I'm noting the Wild are at Florida tomorrow night and at Tampa Saturday night. But they last played in Ottawa, Tuesday night?
Yeah.
I think they've been in Florida since Tuesday.
They had a really bad flight. Their plane was broken after the game.
In Ottawa?
In Ottawa. Broken. So they had to spend all night sitting on the broken plane waiting for... Yeah, the airline had to go fetch another plane, fly it to Ottawa, transfer all the equipment, the players, and I think they landed in the morning, like at, I don't know, 6 a.m.
Wow.
So that kind of screwed up their one of their free days.
That'll ruin your South Beach experience.
Yes.
But my
and it's a father-son trip, so the dads
is.
and the uncles, or they call it mentors.
Yeah.
I guess you're allowed to invite kind of a wide variety.
Did you guys have that?
Did not.
That must be a new affectation. Huh?
It is. Yeah. It is. It's a nice touch, and I think there's mother-son trips too, but I don't know if that falls into Euphorian or not.
No, I don't think
No,
so.
family doesn't.
I bet there's some hell raising there.
The dads like to whoop it up with each other.
Yeah.
There's a caller on the line for a question for Chore. Bill?
Yeah, hi, Joe. I think it was a week or so ago, maybe 2, when you had Chorsky on it. I didn't get in to ask him, but I'm about the same age as you, Joe, and grew up with high school hockey. And I contend that years ago, it was a much better game without the face mask. I think the face mask has actually ruined the game, and I'm just wondering how Chorsky feels about that.
Yeah, well, I guess I could compare it to playing in the NHL when very few people wore the half shields that you see now, and there is some truth to it. You have a little more respect both for other people's faces, and you have an awareness of your own face not being protected. So,
well, Tom, also too, if I might add, the face mask is take every guy, even the little guys out there. They're all fearless now. It's kind of rollerball on ice now, and it never used to be that way.
And you're talking about high school hockey.
I'm talking about high school and college.
Yep. I would agree. It does make them fearless. There is almost no way to get your face hurt anyway. So you fly in there with reckless abandon, and you don't have to worry about losing any teeth or breaking a nose.
Oh, absolutely. And you got these little centermen and wingers that are taking on these big defensemen. And years ago, man, they didn't do that.
Well, that's true. It was a different game then, and there's some changes as far as that goes. But you're right. We saw that in the NHL when players would move up from college, having worn a mask and being protected. Sometimes they led with their face and paid the price.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay, with the eye shield. I get that.
Yep.
But this full face mask is, and like I say, in my opinion, it's kind of ruined the game. And back years ago when Joe and I played, the referees did a really good job of enforcing the rules and keeping the sticks down.
Yeah, and there was a code too. I would think and hope that players weren't being. It was just a mutual agreement.
We weren't headhunting.
Yeah, right. There weren't headhunting, and that wasn't part of the game. But now it's evolved to finish all your checks, and if you don't have a lot of skill, we're going to use you for your speed and your physicality, and you see some of that.
I'd also add one. Thanks a lot for your call or for your time. I'd also add one other thing. I wish everybody would go to the Olympic ice sheet. You see a lot more skills.
I don't disagree with you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Let's dovetail to football. My theory. You probably are unaware of my theory about the National Football League.
Let's hear it.
I believe it is transforming into a quasi reality TV / sport. If it's not transforming, it will have to. 300-pound guys who can run that fast can no longer continue to run into each other because you're going to either that or you're going to have to put up with death on the field, which you almost had 2 weeks ago, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Yep.
Reavers, what was the guy's name?
Ryan Shazier was the linebacker for Pittsburgh.
Who to this day we don't know if he's going to walk again.
He's still in a hospital.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder if, as part of my plot, and I see Trump becoming the commissioner, by the way.
This is reality.
Yeah. I wonder if it will ever be considered to strip football players of the helmet. Then, of course, I guess you're into rugby.
Well, on that note, I have a friend, a guy I know that plays a lot of rugby, and he has been helping younger football players practice tackling because of the rugby experience, because they have to tackle each other without helmets, and there's something to be said about that. But to your point, yes, it's become violent.
It's terrible.
The physicality of and the physical, I guess, stature of the players, the speed of the players, the strength of them, and the way they ferociously go after each other. It's scary.
But they couldn't do it without helmets.
because they've already crossed that line early on before these guys were throwing their entire bodies into it. And I'm sure a lot of them got hurt when they had the leather helmets on and so forth. But they weren't what they are now.
Well, back in the days of the leather helmet, they were 5'5" little fat white guys. They didn't.
Right.
They weren't fast. They weren't big. They weren't strong. They didn't kill each other.
Yeah, they didn't train.
Now they're
year-round
just
and
thoroughly trained, thorough nutrition, thorough everything.
Yep.
And something's got to give.
Well, maybe a no face mask back to the leather helmet just to protect their noggin a little bit. But
did you have to make a big transition when you went from the college mask to the pros? What was your?
Did you wear the full college mask? The full shield.
Back then, I wore the cage.
A cage.
I think most of us wore the cage. I didn't like the bubble, the shield.
Plexiglass.
It just was hot, and you couldn't hear and as much and yell.
Fog up.
I don't know. Nowadays, it's kind of the cool kids wear that. And but anyway, I wore the cage in college and then took it off for the most part in the NHL. Hence my scars and broken noses.
I thought you thought it was still Halloween or something like that. You had the makeup going.
Face for radio.
But you're so young, relatively young, that the helmet law had long been in place in the NHL.
There was a couple grandfathered in that weren't wearing it. Yeah, Craig McTavish was one. And
what year did you join the league?
1989.
And McTavish still went out. Yeah. You're right. I can see it now in my mind's eye.
Oh, there's about three or four guys probably.
Oh, that's
Barry
crazy.
Beck, I think, was one.
Remember when goalies didn't even wear a helmet or mask?
Oh my God,
that's crazy.
Or the referees. The first one was Andy Von Helmet.
Yes.
What?
That was his nickname. He was the first ref to wear a helmet.
Well, he's no
Andy Von
Helmet,
but we call him Andy Von Helmet.
Andy Von Helmet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, just a moment. We'll be back shortly. Hello in there.
Yo.
Hello. Mike, go ahead, please.
Hi, Joe. When you were speaking of football helmets and hockey helmets, it dovetails well. When you and I were young and played high school football, we had basically two bars that covered your mouth for a face mask.
Yeah.
Well, the kids now have these cages, these great big cages, so their face is completely protected. When I was a kid, if you stuck your head in there, you'd get your nose broken.
Right.
So if the Pee-wee football players now just had small face masks, they would learn to tackle with their shoulders like we did, rather than stick their head in there.
Well, I can't disagree with you. Yeah. But tell that to the average mother of a Pee-wee football player.
You know, it's kind of like, what's worse, a broken nose or a broken neck?
I'll take a broken nose.
Thanks, Joe.
All right.
So wait, you're pooing the safety features?
No, we were wondering
because my uncle played football with a no mouth thing at all, just a leather helmet. I mean, do you want to go all the way back to that?
Yeah, but he was a short, fat, white guy that competing against other short, fat, white guys.
Then tackled
nine-man too.
Yeah,
nine-man.
There weren't even that many guys.
Yeah, right.
No, we were talking about the initial caller was wondering if the increased cage on the hockey helmet is encouraging the kind of play that would not be normally seen.
I did hear that,
and we don't know the answer to that. But then I wondered if football is getting so out of hand that I'm wondering what steps they're going to take. But I wanted to ask you something about: can you bring yourself to watch a lot of NBA?
Well, I was telling you, I've got a 16-year-old that makes sure that we flip back and forth from hockey to the NBA, and I'm starting to. He likes the front runners and the top teams, so he's introducing me to the Golden State Warriors and Houston, and he likes some players on the Celtics, and he's really educated me on the top end skill players, and for the most part, they seem like world-class athletes. So I'm okay with it.
Reavers, did you watch any of the Timberwolves last night?
I watched a fair amount.
It seemed to me early on they'd seemed disinterested.
That's been the running theme of the Timberwolves this year. Yes.
So I'm getting better at my NBA observations.
Which is why
then they really stepped it up.
Well, which is why what Jimmy Butler did in the closing minutes of that game was that he basically just said, "Listen, I'm sick and tired of watching this crap, and I'm going to will this team to victory." And that's exactly what he did.
Well, didn't Towns contribute mightily in the fourth quarter?
He did, and I've got to believe believe that, an effort like that is going to eventually start to wear off on some of these other guys, Andrew Wiggins chief among them. I mean,
I don't understand his
how
act
you can
at
just stand back and watch your player or your teammate, give everything he can on the court. And you're just, okay, maybe I'll contribute.
Well, why
here and
doesn't
there.
Butler lecture him?
I think he does, though, because there was some audio that Fox Sports North was running during the game, and Butler didn't mention him specifically by name, but you got the sense that that's exactly who he was talking about, about how you can't just stand around and expect everything to happen for you. You have to go out there, and I'm paraphrasing. That's not exactly what he said, but it was to that effect.
But if I didn't like the NBA before, that's why.
Yeah.
But if you watch, and follow, and I've been educated, like the Golden State Warriors, between the players and the coach, they have a good operation going, and they don't stand around. They play the game, and they play for each other.
I'm having trouble with the coach of the Timberwolves for no reason. I have no reason to be at war with Tibbs, but I just don't get the act of standing over there and growling like a bear. I just don't get the whole deal. And last night you could hear him on TV. Didn't I ask you that earlier, Reeves? Or was that yesterday?
He's got some quirks.
Or 2 days ago.
I think it was 2 days ago.
Yeah. But you can hear him.
Yeah.
He's got an arm quirk, too.
But,
What's
Tom,
that?
you were a pro athlete, Tom. Would that, if it's like that all the time, eventually the message is just going to fall on deaf ears with a lot of different types of athletes.
Yeah, it's less so in hockey.
That's true.
The culture doesn't allow for it if you've got the right veterans and leaders, because you will get beat up in practice.
Well, plus I'm not sure a hockey player can hear the coach. Can you?
Well,
there's a lot of racket in the arena.
Yeah, when you come back, but certainly the opportunity between periods, you go in for 15 minutes or 20 minutes.
What I'm trying to say is, if you're the coach, it's your job to get your message to your players.
Right.
And if some guys need the message delivered a little bit differently, that's on you. That's not on them.
Right.
You're the one that's paid to deliver the message.
And I don't know, I'm not on the inside, but in this day and age, right, there's always the thought that because they make so much money, they have so much job security, or maybe they don't even care. If you trade me, I'm still going to make the same amount of money, or if you send me to the minors, I'm still going to have, if you waive me, whatever. And they make more than the coach, and apparently there's power in salaries.
And whether we like it or not, the modern day professional athlete has just grown up in a completely different world than the rest of us have. Those that are older than them. It stinks, but that's just the reality of it.
Fact-based, the chief offside correspondent is weighing in. Did we say that Andrew Wiggins looks disinterested?
Yeah.
Did I or you or one of us said that?
I will say that, yes.
All right. Well, see, disinterested means unbiased. The word we want is uninterested.
Oh, I like it.
So disinterested.
Okay, nerd.
Disinterested doesn't mean what we thought it meant. Well, we're getting corrected here. It's fact-based.
Who sent you that?
The chief offside correspondent, Dan.
Okay.
At bbonward.com.
Okay.
And so I'm always glad to take a correct grammar lesson.
Such, before you go to break, did you hear, I don't know if you heard it, if it made the news or not, but did you hear about this guy missing his left side? He's all right.
Did you get that from Rick from Harlingen?
Is that the guy from Harlingen, Texas called you and told you that?
He already called today.
Kenny Dad Joke Olson.
I've been waiting all day to tell you that joke.
I'm laying that one down tonight.
Can I go home now?
That's terrible.
I want to go home now.
Did you hear about the guy?
He's missing his left side.
Oh, my God.
He's all right.
He's all right.
He's all right. Sports Talk will be back in just a moment.
Santa Claus goes straight to the ghetto.
One of my favorites.
Hitch up your reindeer.
Fantastic.
Go straight to the ghetto. Santa Claus.
Where are you going to go, James?
Go straight to the ghetto.
Heard
Here's
that.
John Haidt.
Thank you,
Fill
Joe.
every stocking you
Cloudy and 23 degrees. Gophers men's basketball team in action tonight. They're at home to face Oral Roberts University. Wolves beat the Nuggets 112-104 last night. They'll play at Phoenix on Saturday evening. Vikings in Green Bay Saturday night. Now, earlier this week, we, of course, heard that the Packers put Aaron Rodgers on IR. He will miss the rest of the season. Brett Hundley will start for the Packers at quarterback. This morning, Green Bay announced wide receiver Devontae Adams won't play. He suffered his second concussion of the season last Sunday against Carolina. He will miss that Saturday evening game against the Vikings. News notes from today. Investigators in St. Cloud have determined a suspicious package reported on a residential street this morning was not an explosive, but was likely made to look like one.
Hey, there's the Gasparilla Bowl tonight.
Yeah.
I'll give you $1 if you can tell me who's playing in it.
The Sarsaparilla Bowl.
John's on that. I'm out.
Gasparilla.
Give you $1. You got 10 seconds.
South Florida against Louisiana Tech.
Temple and Florida International.
Dang it, I had Florida.
Yeah.
Minneapolis bomb and
Are we carrying that one?
Well, God help
we're
me.
not. We're not. We're not. No, we're not.
Oh, no, what am I talking about? We have the beer show.
Because if we are, that's a hell of a game.
What a matchup.
That's a matchup.
Must listen to.
A matchup made in heaven. Oh, Minneapolis
Thanks,
bomb.
Keith.
Yeah.
Okay, John.
Minneapolis bomb and arson squad, which had been called to help x-ray the package to make the determination. St. Cloud police said in a release the area on the 200 block of 4th Avenue Northeast had been cleared at the time. 5 nearby blocks also closed off. They were reopened by late this morning. Case remains under investigation by St. Cloud police. Picky burglars in Blaine. Jordan Schmidt came home to a scene Wednesday. Burglars had reportedly gotten into his house, unwrapped Christmas gifts under the tree before they decided what to steal.
Oh,
That's very bold.
Well, you want to know what you're stealing if you're going to steal.
Right.
Schmidt said he reported the robbery, which included thousands of dollars worth of missing electronics, jewelry, and purses to police.
well, this is why this is especially awful. Because the worst part about Christmas Day is picking up all the wrapping paper.
Right.
For some people, they may have to cancel Christmas.
Burglar took
Don't
only-
do that again.
Yeah. Never.
It's only the third time he's done
Every
it.
Christmas show that kids watch has to do with somebody canceling Christmas.
Oh.
You can't cancel
You can't
Christmas.
cancel it,
No.
can you?
Santa might be late. You might not make it. But
Right.
Christmas Day is the 25th. You don't cancel
So a couple of days ago, Rookie told me that I should bust this out on the 3-year-old.
Yeah.
You should have seen the look
Yes.
on his face.
That you canceled it?
That Christmas was canceled.
We might have to cancel. I love doing that to kids.
Yeah.
And they're at the right age. Well, hey, you know what? We might have to cancel Christmas this year.
Do what
Santa's
I
got
did
it.
when I was the mall Santa and I had my own kid on my lap. I said, "You're not getting anything." Kid was crying to be
You were
held.
bad Santa.
Yeah.
The Fatherhood Podcast coming soon.
What do you want? I want a Cabbage Patch doll. We're out of those. You're not going to get
We're
one.
not going to get one.
They don't even have those anymore.
Told the elves to stop making them.
Yeah.
Wow, that explains a lot.
Well, you have to. What good are they if you can't
Right.
give them grief?
If you can't harm them mentally
right. Just
forever.
wound them psychologically.
Here's how I was potty trained. Richard held me and screamed at me.
Okay, well,
Boy, that does explain
that
it.
makes sense.
There you go. Yep. One of 2 Wisconsin girls who tried to kill a classmate to win favor with a fictional
Lock
horror.
these 2 fruitcakes up.
A fictional horror character named Slenderman has been sentenced to 25 years in a mental hospital.
Good.
Anissa Wire pleaded guilty in August to being a party to attempted second-degree intentional homicide, but she claimed she wasn't responsible for her actions because she was mentally ill. In September, the jury agreed. The county circuit judge, Michael Boren, has sentenced the 16-year-old Wire today to be hospitalized for 25 years from the date of the crime. That would keep her institutionalized until age 37. She apologized in brief comments to the court and said she accepted responsibility. She and Morgan Geyser lured Peyton Leutner into a wooded area near Milwaukee in 2014. Geyser stabbed Leutner 19 times while Wire urged her on. Leutner survived. All 3 girls were 12 years old at the time. Even after 2 terror attacks and a driver's deadly rampage through Times Square, New York City is on track to smash its modern-era low for homicides in a year.
Good. That's good news, isn't it, John?
It is. Through December 17th, the city of 8.5 million people, once America's murder capital, had recorded 278 killings.
400 and something less than Chicago.
This would put it on pace to end the year with killings down 14% from last year and well below the 333 in 2014, which was the year with the fewest homicides since the city began keeping accurate crime stats back in 1963. Crime has been dropping for years in New York, but 2017 saw substantial drops, even in places like Brooklyn's 75th Police Precinct, once among the nation's most violent places. South Korean soldiers fired 20 warning machine gun rounds today, turning back North Korean soldiers who were apparently pursuing a comrade who had earlier dashed across the rivals' shared border. It's the fourth time this year a North Korean soldier has defected across the world's most heavily armed border. South Korean military officials said they heard gunfire from the north after South Korea fired its warning shots, but it wasn't clear if the firing was retaliatory. Neither side immediately reported any casualties. North Korean soldiers occasionally do flee over the land border, but there have been few defections as dramatic as one that happened about 40 days ago. A northern soldier at that point crossed at a different, very public place, jointly controlled. That soldier was shot 5 times by his former comrades.
Wow.
An escape caught on video.
He's the guy they found the tapeworms in?
That's correct.
Yeah.
He had all the problems with the worms. He is still recovering, actually, in a hospital. Penske Media Corporation said it's made a strategic investment in Wenner Media, the owner of Rolling Stone. The companies announced the investment last night, but did not disclose financial terms. However, the investment values Rolling Stone at about $100 million, according to
What?
Wow. I find that high.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not because, I mean, they're mostly online now, aren't they?
I have no idea.
Rolling Stone?
I mean, I know that it's still in circulation, but it's virtually everything online is free. Why would people pay for it?
Under the deal, New York-based.
I mean, get your Pioneer Press. That's what I meant to say, Joe.
Right, buy a paper every day.
Is it even viable anymore? Does anybody
Not to me.
crave to be on the cover of the Rolling Stone?
Well, no.
can't
Have you
imagine.
been on? When was the last time you were on their website? Because their like music videos and stuff are pretty cool.
Never.
Oh.
Under the deal, New York-based Wenner Media will still maintain editorial oversight of the magazine. And, of course...
Well, then why own it?
Well, yeah, I don't get that. Plus, Jan Wenner will remain the magazine's editorial director, and his son, Gus, will remain president and chief operating officer. Apparently, Penske thinks this just adds to a portfolio of magazines that they own that gives them credibility of some sort. Rough time of year for this. Norway's Supreme Court said in a statement it's ruled valid a demand by the state for reindeer herder Josvat Sara to reduce his 200-strong herd to 75. The herder from the indigenous Sami community, who was twice successfully challenged in order to reduce the size of his herd, claimed he could not make a living with that scale of slaughter. He also argued that the ruling would breach human rights norms, but the court upheld the ruling would breach. The court upheld that the claim the slaughter was necessary to ensure sustainable management of the land. Sarah has vowed to appeal to the European Court.
I don't get it. Is he overgrazing, or he just has too many disease spreading because of overcrowding?
Just too many that there's not enough room where he keeps them.
Okay.
And so they
dish off 12 to Santa. Isn't there about 12 on that team?
I'm not sure how many there are.
Yeah, but unfortunately the reindeer are not strong enough. So we may have to cancel Christmas.
Oh, my God.
Joe, did you hear about the guy that lost his entire left side?
I did.
What? What happened
He's
to him?
all right.
He's all right.
Wow. Yeah.
He's all right.
I saw you tweeted that earlier today, Kenny.
Did you get any feedback on your tweet about being Yukon Cornelius?
No. Everybody just agrees with me and disagrees with me.
You look just like
you look just like him in the tweet.
Everybody says you're
Should
wrong.
dye that beard red is what we should do.
Side by side pictures look.
Anyway, looks like it's about time for a break here at 1500 ESPN. We'll be back after this.
At the time and the temp. Is this
Well, happy
Christmas?
holidays.
Christmas
This is the Christmas version of
Let me stomp on your throat here.
A New York City man who says he has a fear of the Tasmanian devil claims,
Who doesn't?
claims his father-in-law repeatedly scared him with a toupee that looks like the cartoon character.
Oh, he taunted him.
New York Post reports Eunice Dola was arrested in November for violating a restraining order filed by his son-in-law, Mazin Dayem. The 36-year-old says Dola
What the
terrorized...
hell nationality are these people?
Not sure. Not sure.
All right.
36-year-old says Dola terrorized him at a funeral by waving the hairpiece and snarling at him.
At a funeral?
Uh-huh.
No, you got a hands off at a funeral.
Staten Island man says he has a fear of the Tasmanian devil his entire life. Dayem claims his father-in-law has taken advantage of the phobia since 2013. Dayum filed a restraining order in September following an altercation with Dola at a restaurant. An attorney for Dola labeled the case a family dispute. Dola faces charges of criminal contempt and aggravated harassment. A man once believed to have the world's largest swimsuit area.
Look out.
What do you mean once? I'm still here.
Well, no, you're not even in the top 2, apparently, Kenny.
Oh.
The man once believed to have the world's largest swimsuit area is labeled the new self-proclaimed record holder disgusting and desperate.
Really?
Jonah,
people are vying for this title?
Apparently, yeah. Jonah Falcon, who measures in at 13.5 inches, said
you could do pull-ups on that.
Said the fact that...
How do you think he rang the doorbell?
Pull a car out of the ditch.
Well, funny, Kenny, that you mentioned that. Now, wait. See, this is the number. This is
Happy holidays, folks.
This is the guy who was number 1.
Name a part of the body that gets bigger as adults get older.
Jonah Falcon is his name. He's the number 1 guy.
Is he an American?
He is.
Yeah.
But
USA. USA.
Represent.
But
America.
Roberto Esquivel Cabrera,
a Mexican
of Saltillo, Mexico.
Yeah.
Well, he's trying to claim the number 1 spot. He's used weights to stretch his swimsuit area to over 19 inches.
Wow.
Oh, that's novelty size.
Well, Falcon says
Can't
that.
use that.
Well, Falcon says
Unless you
that's
play baseball.
That's not fair. He said. The spat came after Roberto.
I don't think any of this is fair, to tell you the truth.
Spat came after.
We're all sitting here with our legs crossed.
The spat came after Roberto admitted to spending his life trying to make himself larger.
19 inches, that's a tripod.
Yeah.
You get your...
His refused reduction operation says he wants to enter the porn industry.
Stroll on Marco Island Beach.
Well, this is quite the story, John.
Good luck finding swim trunks.
Here's the other
Hey,
thing.
how come you're wearing pants at the beach?
Is that a scarf?
Here's the other thing.
A scarf.
Is this story almost over?
Not really. I still got a page and a half or so.
Oh, just getting started.
He's now listed as disabled by the Mexican government because of the size, and he gets a pension.
I shouldn't wonder.
Because
Plus,
of
he
his
gets that
disability.
good parking spot because it's hard to get in and out of the car with that thing.
Falcon, the former record holder, or still, depending on which one you side on here, says it's not fair.
I don't know that I'm going to take sides.
Are there any pictures, John?
Well, yeah, there was actually, but this is radio. So.
How'd you like that job at Guinness for the Book of World Records?
Hey, Ralph,
you got to fly to Mexico
you're on down to Mexico City and
to measure. What's his name?
Bring
Marco.
a ruler.
right.
Now, Roberto, he is speaking of Guinness records. They will not recognize him
I would hope
rulers.
not. I would hope not.
Bring a yardstick.
because
The new intern's going to have to go with you.
he's not recognized by Guinness because Guinness says basically all he's done is stretch the skin.
I see.
If you know what I'm saying.
I think I do.
okay.
All right.
Oh,
So
wait.
It's all sad
So
face
they're
and-
refusing to accept this guy, but they do have the record listed?
Yeah, the first fellow we talked about, Mr. Falcon.
Is registered.
Jonah Falcon.
Oh, boy.
So it's
he's
just
number 1 in the Guinness
It's just
book.
like a barn rope. It's worthless.
I don't know what a
I
barn,
think-
I don't know
I
what a
think
barn
essentially
rope
that's-
is.
that's
but-
correct.
I've seen some good things done with barn rope.
Push and rope.
John, you should move on.
I'm going to move on now.
You
after
cannot
that.
possibly believe that none of this was going to happen when you brought up this story.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're an instigator.
That
Hyde.
story just keeps going on and on and on, doesn't it?
Good one, Rick. Let's go from that to this. Each December, Shirley Squires transforms her modest Vermont home into a creche museum.
Okay.
She has
That's quite a different topic.
more than 1,400 miniature nativity scenes of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph covering every surface, taking over 2 bedrooms up of her house and overflowing into a specially built room in her garage that she built just to put nativity scenes.
She's a collector, is she, John?
She is. Mm-hmm. During the holiday season and through January, the 87-year-old welcomes school and church groups and other visitors by appointment to tour her collection, which is, of course, lit up by holiday lights.
Whatever happened to the rage of these lit up villages that were
Antonini?
My grandma had one of those. I still
weren't they
remember it.
for sale at Dayton's or whatever? What am I thinking
Department 56.
Yeah,
56.
whatever happened to them?
They're still out there, but they're not as.
That was the
Where
rage
you
for a
used
while.
That was the
the
rage.
cotton was the snow. and
Marjorie Johnson
all
had her
all the
bakery.
little buildings had lights in them.
I have a slight confession to make. I was fascinated by these as a child. I own about 6 of them right now.
We had a mess of them. I have no idea where they are. We had a Harley store.
Right underneath
A
the
Harley store of the I see. What
probably
you're saying.
right under the steps where it's all moldy and they're in a box that's
I
just
don't
been
know where
forgotten.
they are. I don't. Maybe they're gone.
Squire started collecting the nativity
Is still
scenes.
the old lady in Vermont?
It is, yeah.
Maybe this lady should meet that guy from Mexico.
Give her something to do.
Yeah.
She's 87, guys. Come on.
Well, it's never
Yep,
too late to
take it
learn.
back. Yep.
Squire started collecting them after the death of her husband, 1991. She died around Christmas time, so
He did?
he did, yeah. So she decided
Much to his relief.
she hadn't started collecting them yet. So she did after his death.
I see.
I can see you're not appreciating this story either, so I'll just move on again.
No, I thought that was charming, John.
Thank you.
That was charming.
Thank
You
you.
hear about that guy in Mexico?
No, I don't want to hear about him.
Did you hear about Dubé?
No, I don't want to hear about that either. That guy gets more publicity than Prairie Home Companion.
Rock bottom. A Missouri student's dedication is going viral thanks to a picture of her finishing up a final exam while sitting in a hospital bed preparing to give birth. Nizia Thomas is a sophomore at Johnson County Community College. She tweeted a photo that her mother snapped of her finishing up her psychology final exam while in labor.
She in high school, John?
No. This would be
Community
college.
college.
Johnson County Community College.
Damn near high school.
Thomas.
No, isn't the line that's high school with smoking? I think that's the line. I can't remember whose line it is, but
Thomas said she wanted to be done with the semester before the birth of her son, Anthony Johnson, who arrived about 12 hours later. It wasn't due until the end of the week, Thomas told Yahoo Lifestyle of her psych final, but my goal was to try to have everything done before the birth. I thought before all this gets crazy, let me hurry up and finish the final. She said, school's important to me. I didn't want pregnancy to get in the way of that. That's what people expect. You're a teen mom. You're a young mother. That's why my mom took the picture. Thomas said she finished, and despite the extra hardship, she has a 3.5 GPA. She said, it shows I follow through.
Oh, good for her.
oh, I got to get out of here and go to the Guinness World Book of Records website.
Get that guy's number.
Yeah, I got to see this for myself.
You're not done, John.
A homeless woman in Framingham, Massachusetts tried to shoplift more than $1,000 in products from a Target store. One problem. At the time, the store was filled with 50 police officers taking part in a Shop with a Cop event on Tuesday evening. As officers waited in line to check out items for the numerous local children they joined on a holiday shopping spree, a charity event sponsored by the department. An employee notified them the store had a shoplifter. He estimated, the officer, Stephen O'Rourke, that there were 50 to 75 officers from several towns roaming the store. 32-year-old Melissa E. Allen eventually was taken in for questioning.
If they weren't able to go shopping, what would happen?
We might have to cancel Christmas.
This is the home of sports talk.
That's for sure.
1500 ESPN.
Tom Chorsky is going to be your conductor on the ride tonight in Royce's absence. And what do you have in store?
Well, we are going to talk a little bit about the early signing date to college football. I've got Jim Johansson, the general manager of the World Under-20 junior team that has a big Christmas tournament coming up, the World Junior Tournament. It's an outside game versus Canada this year. It's
right
outside at the Buffalo Bills Stadium. So we're going to get an update on that, and then I'll let the gang here kind of steer me down with some other Minnesota sports talk and whatever else we cover.
Were you ever involved in an outdoor game in the pros?
I was not.
That's a later affectation, isn't it?
Yes,
they're really nifty though. If it's cold enough, I think they're silly when it's 52 degrees and they try to pull it off.
And rainy and this is the first time it's been done in a world tournament.
Right.
So there's some conversation and concern that this is such a big, meaningful game that it shouldn't be outside.
1500 ESPN is KSTP, St. Paul, Minneapolis. It's 22 degrees. Tom Chorsky is up next.
As prices keep creeping up, your entertainment budget doesn't have to take a hit. Live One Plus has all the music you love, ad-free for only $3.99 per month. Dive into Live One's massive library of songs, listen to curated playlists, or create your own. Check out exclusive artist-hosted stations and do it all for the best price in streaming. Lock in a Live One Plus membership for just $3.99 per month now, and you'll not only beat inflation, you'll get all your favorite music ad-free. Check out liveone.com/bestmusic for details.